All right, Blake Fly, good to have you here, my friend. Thanks
Good
for
to, good to have you here, Michael
man.
DeLon. We're
It,
like both in the shuttle together right now.
it is, yeah. This is great. All systems are go. We're doing something fun. Is having a dialogue, having a conversation around. The term that you used was an innovative outreach,
Yes.
and what we're going to dive deep into for the next 30, 40 minutes, whatever, on how to take the concept. You know, I've talked about this, the Disney Fast Pass. That was very innovative a number of years ago, where you were at the back of the line. You're going to have to wait in line for 45, 55 minutes, whatever. But if you had the Fast Pass, you went right to the front of the line. You got the
Yes.
right. How can you do that in business? And so you've got this innovative outreach approach that is so different than everything else because it's based on relationships and basically holding the keys to the locked door and things. So
Yeah.
I want to pick your brain a little bit. How
Absolutely.
unpack that a little bit about what is it that people struggle with? Why can they not get to the front of the line? How do you help them? What should people be doing?
We'll go macro then micro.
All
The
right.
the macro high level zoom out is this undeniable truth that humans love to be acknowledged, noticed, and appreciated. No matter who you are, where you're from, you can't really deny the fact that when someone just makes you feel seen
Mm-hmm.
in some small, medium, or large way, you can't really ignore that.
That's right.
A, because it's rare these days, and B, because no matter what level of life and success we're at, there's always some voice asking ourselves, "How am I doing? Like, is
That's right.
is what I'm doing impacting anybody? Is what I'm
Yeah.
doing actually resonating? Like, how am I doing?" So
Yeah.
there's that like appetite for a feedback loop just
Yeah.
because we're humans. And there's actually three reasons why we don't appreciate people in our life more often than we do. So a little game show time. Michael DeLon,
Yeah. All right.
what do you think is the leading reason why we don't deliver appreciation to people in our lives more often?
That's a great question. First thing that comes to mind is it's awkward.
Okay.
It's
Well,
it's um
nice. Any other thoughts?
it's inconvenient.
Okay.
And I don't know what to say. Those
Okay.
are my first three.
Well, hey, if this is Wheel of Fortune, I'm spinning over a lot of letters because that was great. Now,
Okay.
here are the three reasons. According to research from back in the day, I read this in an article and it blew me away. Number one reason, humans don't appreciate more people. We forget.
Okay.
That is the leading reason
Wow.
we forget. We're busy. Lots going on. Anyone tune into this?
That's
You got a
right.
lot on your plate. Your life, your work, your family, all that stuff. Second reason, you already said this, Michael. We don't want it to be weird.
Yeah.
It's awkward. Like,
Yes.
why would I just out of the blue appreciate you on a Tuesday at 3? Like, that might be awkward.
That's right.
And then, final reason, you also got it. We don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So we forget. We don't want it to be weird. We don't know what to say. So in this conversation, I'm going to share some ideas that basically jumps all those hurdles. How do we build in reminders and rituals so we do acknowledge people? How do we give ourselves a little bit of a pump up to realize, yeah, it is weird. And
That's okay.
that's why it stands out when we do
Yeah.
it thoughtfully and it's a blue ocean opportunity that no one else is in.
Yeah.
And finally, I'll give you the words. I mean, we're living in a world of templates.
That's right.
I'll give you a couple
That's right. There
because
you
some
go.
people need that.
Yeah.
And I'm not just doing this for the warm and fuzzies. Back to the task at hand. How do you actually create opportunities in business? How do you get noticed in business? How do you create clients and connections and actually just bring in more cash? Well, this is actually a superpower and a fast pass to make that happen. And the reason why is because most people don't think of this because it's low cost or it's no cost or it's weird or why would I appreciate people if it's not their birthday, anniversary, or when they die?
Right. That's right.
So let's set aside graduations, weddings, and funerals when most of the planet is
Yeah.
doing appreciation, expected appreciation. And now we're going to double down on how can you actually get noticed, remembered, and never ever forgotten by delivering unexpected appreciation.
Love it.
That's the macro. Any questions before we go micro?
Yeah. No, that's a great set because it is what gets noticed and remembers are those odd time events. It
Yeah,
really is. So,
exactly. So I'll just basically share a couple stories because I like stories, and these are basically case studies of this in action. So there was a huge conference that I was speaking at way back, like 2013 or 14. I was speaking on day 3 as like a breakout presenter, and then
okay.
day 1 there was this main stage kickoff performer at this 2,000 person event.
Okay.
I'm at the very back of this conference ballroom, leaning up on the back wall, watching this guy on main stage kick off the first moment for these 2,000 people. He was this unbelievable singer-songwriter. The second that he kind of played that first verse, I got goosebumps and thought, this guy's music is incredible. I want to be his friend. Like that was the sequence of events in my mind. This
Okay.
guy's music is incredible. I want to be his friend. Here's also another reframe, folks. I suck at lead gen. I love creating friendships, specifically future friendships.
Yeah.
If I know that in the future I'm going to have an additional friendship, I know the steps that are required to create a meaningful friendship. So I see this guy in the distance, and I'm like, how the heck do I even talk to him? There's 2,000 people between me and that dude. And yes, I was a fellow speaker, but I mean, he was like a main guy at the event. And
Right.
I was one of like 50 speakers because like, I wasn't the main guy. Now, I'm standing there thinking, how do I get this dude's attention? In a way that no one else will. That's key. How do I get this
Mm,
person's attention in a way that no one else will? Because when you think of getting attention, that's not hard. People know how to get attention. The problem is that everyone does it in the same way.
yeah.
So I'm standing there looking around like, okay, what do I have available to me? That's another key question. What do I have available to me? And I see that there is a table with napkins and pens because it was a hotel. There's always napkins and pens at a
That's right.
hotel.
That's right.
And so I'm at the back of the room. I grab a napkin, I grab a pen, I date it, and I say, hey, Peter, my name's Blake. You and I have not yet met. That's a great line. You and I have not yet met. Yet is a key word. I'm standing in the back of this conference right now watching you rock the guitar. This is amazing. I'm also a guitar player. Not at the same level as you, but it'd be really cool to connect, maybe be friends sometime. I'm sure we have a lot in common. This might be weird because I'm essentially writing you like a bromantic love note on a napkin, but let me know when you see this. Send me a text. Here's my number. Looking forward to connecting, Blake. And I write my phone number. I anticipate, okay, where's this guy going to go next? He's probably going to leave the stage, and I know he has a merch table to sell some albums and t-shirts. He'll probably end up at that table. Cool. There's probably going to be a long line that forms. I don't want to get in line. Come on. Everyone's in line. And soon after, he's at the merch table. A huge line forms. I'm like, I don't want to wait in there. Not A, because it's a long time, but B, because it's tough to be remembered when you're in a freaking long lineup.
That's right.
So I just go to the front of the line. I go right beside this individual, Peter. I'm holding a napkin. I'm like, hey, Peter, that was awesome. Here you go. I wrote you that. Talk to you soon. And I leave. And I wasn't really intruding, interrupting. It's just like, hey, Peter, that was awesome. I wrote you this. Message me,
Wow.
like, we'll talk soon. And I just vanish.
That's great.
Now, there's a lot of risk in this approach. I don't know if he's going to respond.
Right. He could
I
throw
don't
it
know if
away.
he's going to think it's weird. That was really weird. Like, very weird what I just
Yeah.
did. I basically wrote the dude a future friendship love note.
I love the bromance letter. That's great.
A couple hours later, I get a text. He's like, thanks for the note. No one's ever written me something like that. I've been traveling the world playing music for years. That was super fun. Like, drop me a line. Fast forward, we hang out. We get a drink one time. We connect. It's not like, oh my gosh, friendship sparks are
Right.
flying. We're best friends forever. But we connect and we have a great conversation. Years later, I see that Peter's doing a performance in my hometown, Toronto. I didn't know he was. And so it was sold out. I'm like, ah. So I could just go, oh well, do nothing.
Yeah.
Instead, I think it's important to let people know when you're thinking of them and what you're thinking about them, especially when it's positive. And so I go on Facebook and I literally just write a post about how I just found out about this concert. I would have loved to go. It is now sold out. So I basically wrote a message of about the impact his music has had on my life. Because his music's amazing. I put it on Facebook. I tag Peter, just like, have a great show. I want people to know about his music. He sends me a message, and we're acquaintances at this point. He's like, hey, I got a couple extra tickets that I've saved, like, for, some friends and family. You and your wife, like, come tonight. Sweet. We get to go to a concert that's sold out. Didn't have to pay for the ticket. Great show,
Wow.
amazing. Another touch point with Peter. See him after the show. Hey, how's it going? Cool. Thanks for inviting us. Yada yada yada. Fast forward, I run an annual event for entrepreneurs called Thank You Live. It is the only annual gratitude experience for entrepreneurs to look back on their year, celebrate their progress, and appreciate their people. We
How cool.
deliver appreciation messages in real time at this annual event. When I made that event, I was freaked out. I'm like, I don't know what that means to like run an event and sell tickets, and I don't sell tickets. Like, people hire me to speak. I don't actually like sell tickets. Yikes. I was freaked out. I put this thing on Eventbrite. Someone buys a ticket a few hours later. Ticket one. I'm like, oh, I guess my mom found the link. That's kind and supportive. And Michael, or anyone tune in, when you put out a new thing,
Hmm.
it's freaky. It's like,
It's
okay, we're
scary.
exposed.
Yeah.
Let's see how this goes. I opened the first ticket confirmation just to see who got it. Peter bought the first ticket to the event
How
and
cool.
basically affirmed and validated this brand new concept of mine. At that event, I actually said, hey, Peter, look, tell you what, how about I comp your ticket? I'd love if you just played one song. You can totally shut me down. But if you want to play one song, you can wrap up the night. He's like, I'd be honored.
Wow.
He played one song. There was actually a speaking agent in the room. Got Peter signed on with the speaking agency. Peter built out like a whole speaking career from the thing. Peter and I now co-produce this annual event. We're business partners in it. Peter ended up emceeing my wedding for my wife and I. He's one of my best friends. And I'm not saying this is always going to happen with every
Right.
connection you create, but guaranteed, Michael, if it didn't begin as novel, innovative, weird, memorable, wacky, it wouldn't have that like pullback effect that then
Dude.
slingshots into a really amazing friendship and collaborative partner forever if I want.
Right. No, that's so good because one of the things I teach business owners is similar. All right. Is send hang on. Oh, gotta bend down and get it. I should put it on my desk. You know, I send these little boxes to people
Nice.
and they go in the mail and you get a box like this. And if you get a box like this, are you going to open it, Blake? You're going to open it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You open it up and it's got a nice little note that I've written you. It's got some fun stuff. And then inside of it, this one has dark chocolate covered coffee beans. The note matches the coffee beans. Okay. But
Nice.
if I want to reach out to somebody to either show appreciation or start a relationship,
Yep.
many times I will send something like that because it's out of the norm. It's
Right.
wacky. It's who is this guy?
Yeah.
And it starts something that is totally different, just like your napkin,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's off the grid of normal because
Yeah.
it's not Facebook or LinkedIn or webinar. It's personal.
Right.
And that's the key. Your napkin, your bromance letter was personal.
Yeah.
And that started the whole game, right? How do you be personal in business? I mean, it's not rocket science, right? It's thinking. Just like saying, attaboy, way to go, man. To
Well,
our
it's
employee.
super risky though. It's extremely risky to talk to a stranger and point out something that maybe no one's ever pointed out in them ever before. Like, even as an example right now, let's say I didn't know you yet, Michael. Here's a couple things that I have available to me in this moment. If anybody's watching this video, you know what I'm talking about, but I'll use descriptive language if you just see it or hear an audio about this. So Michael's setup is awesome. He's in like this beautiful, like vaulted ceiling space with like a brick back wall. It's amazing. Like, the first time I met you on a Zoom, Michael, I just noticed the background. Like, that's really wicked. And currently, Michael's wearing a blue, like, polo shirt.
Yeah.
And so here are some things that I can do, because I always say to people and clients of mine, how can you create 100 touch points a year? with one person and never talk about your business?
Mm,
How can you create 100 touch points a year with one person and never talk about your business? Now that sounds really, really daunting and intimidating. But Michael, if you and I send a message like back and forth with 10 texts today, that's 10 of the 100.
right.
So anyway, here's some things that I can do. And playfulness and humor, it's like a part of my approach and it's how I coach people. So this applies for me and my clients. Use your own spin on it. I could literally go to Best Buy, where I know everybody wears blue polo shirts.
Right.
I could just take a picture of me in Best Buy with someone in the background wearing a blue polo shirt. I could send it to Michael DeLon. Be like, Michael, these people are wearing your shirt.
Right.
And then I could include a screenshot of this conversation right now, connect the dots. I didn't say anything about my business. I didn't do anything. All I did is just be top of mind with Michael, maybe bring a smile to his face. And anytime in the future I go to Best Buy, I can send him another one of those images. I can create this inside kind of cultural reference to our friendship that I'm not really going to send anybody else.
That's right.
Similarly, if I go anywhere with vaulted ceilings,
Mm-hmm.
I could just take a picture of the ceiling, message Michael on Facebook, on LinkedIn, wherever, send him an email, make a little video. It could be a video message where it's literally like, Michael DeLon, it's been a while, but check out this ceiling. It reminded me of you. What's something you're working on these days? Say hi to Caleb. Done.
Yeah.
I could find any place with brick. I could just literally take a picture of the brick wall. I could literally go on Google Images and type brick wall. It's brick walls, blue shirts, vaulted ceilings are things that are happening in this very conversation between Michael and me. I could build basically a low-cost, no-cost, lifelong campaign that when I send to Michael, it's just going to perk him up, make him smile, and he's probably at some point going to like end up talking business with me.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, there's a barrier because people say, "Oh, that's so hard," because they haven't done it. But when you get into the habit of doing it, I mean, we carry these phone things with us all the right. How hard is it just to pull up something, do that, do it in a minute or two? I'm done. I'm standing in line waiting on my burger or whatever.
Right.
It's done.
Exactly.
And nobody does that. That's what's beautiful about it.
And that's what's odd to me, because I still don't believe that. But apparently a lot of people tell me, clients share with me like, yeah, no one does that, which shocks me. I mean, okay, I guess I believe you because, hey, that's fun to hear.
It is.
It shocks me.
Yeah, totally. So here's my line that I do at the end of just about every webinar or podcast that I'm on or whatever. After the podcast is done, we're just bantering.
Yeah.
And I'll say, Blake, this is going to sound weird. Can I have your mailing address? I said, because I'm old fashioned and I actually like to write a physical note, a thank you to you. And dude, I am telling you, 9 times out of 10, they're going, oh, really? Oh, that's amazing. That's so sweet. And I'm like, because nobody does it.
Right.
And so I've separated myself in just one little ask.
Yeah.
And now I've got their address. I can send them candy. I can do all kinds of, but I thought, really, nobody writes thank yous anymore? Well, I've automated that. I have a system that writes my thank you in my handwriting. I'm like, yeah, right. Shut up. Not the same.
When I got engaged, I was working with this jeweler and we were back and forth a bunch, and he like kind of lived near my parents' house, so I like go see my parents, walk down the street, go to this jeweler. When I finally like got the ring for my now wife, he and I went out for a drink, and because we've become pals at this point, and I wrote him a thank you note. And the guy's been a jeweler for like 20 years. It's like no one's ever written me a thank you note. Like, what?
Can you imagine?
Like this is a major moment.
Yeah.
To choose a ring for the woman you will marry. I'm like, I understand if maybe you don't get a thank you note in certain industries, but like, this is major mile marker in someone's personal history.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's like, no one's ever written me a note. Like, what?
That's crazy. Yeah.
And I wrote him like 3 sentences.
Oh yeah, it's not. Yeah, it was probably shorter than your bromance letter, right?
Oh yeah.
But it's getting our thoughts off of ourselves. I think that's one of the issues. We are so self-centric. I don't have time. I'm too busy. You know what? Get over it and write a note.
Right.
Think about somebody else, put a stamp on it, put it in the mail, or do something, because it makes a lasting impact.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that starts a relationship. And in business, that's really what I want to work with, people that I love.
Yeah.
Really. And sending little things, getting messages from people. I do Marco Polo is one of the apps that I use. And I do that with 2 or 3 clients who have become friends now.
Yeah.
And we just back and forth on giddy, dumb stuff, but also some really cool personal stuff. Rarely business stuff.
Right.
But it's just connecting and saying, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it's, like right now when we're recording this, we're 4 or 5 days away from Easter.
Yeah.
I'm sending people all kinds of things. Man, how are you preparing your heart for Easter? What's going on? What are you reading? What's going on in your family? Where are you going? And it just, all kinds of responses are back and forth, because it goes back to that top of mind. It's friendship. It's relationship.
Right.
It's not hard.
You do this in so many ways. And I mean, this is also part of the conversation today, where everything I'm describing, it's like this low cost, no cost, innovative outreach. And if we use this Disney Fast Pass analogy, it's kind of like, oh, I don't have a Disney Fast Pass, but I don't really want to stand in this line. So
Exactly.
what are some ways that I can contribute to others and also benefit myself? Maybe we can get on the line sooner. Like, that's kind of what I'm discussing over here. Whereas in your world, Michael, especially when people get to become an author through working with you and your team, it's like they do have that fast pass, because that physical proof of expertise, of leadership, of their value that they can contribute to the marketplace, it opens more doors. It helps them kind of bump up in the line. It gets them looked at more than other people may if they don't have a book. So why don't more people write a book?
That's a great question. If I could solve that, I think it scares the daylights out of people for a number of reasons, right? It's the whole process, number one. It's like standing at the bottom of Mount Everest and looking up going, gotta climb that, right?
Right.
And it's like, you know what? Everybody I work with, Blake, is an expert at what they do.
Yeah.
And you can talk about what you do all day long.
Yeah.
We've just taken all the complexity out and say, can we have conversations? And our writer takes you from where you are now, and through a very structured process, we just talk. We have a series of conversations, and we tee you up to communicate what's in your head and what's in your heart. And we want to get that out so that when somebody reads your book, they're actually hearing you.
Yeah. So
that when they listen to your podcast or watch your video or get your note, there's a consistency there, right? But it's so, I mean, writing a book can be very complex. When I wrote my first book, I mean, we wrote it. I did every step.
Right.
And I kind of swore never to do that again. That's why we created our process, because I know that your message needs to be out in the hands of people.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because it's right. It is the fast pass, because and it takes marketing, and it reverses the polarity of your marketing, because so much marketing is push oriented. I'm trying to get my message into you. I'm trying to get a component. And we just reverse that by mailing you a copy of the book. Now you're going to have a 2 or 3 hour conversation with me through the pages of my book.
Right.
You're going to bond with me. You're going to understand me. And at the end of the day, you're either going to say, yeah, that's okay, not my guy. Or you're going to say, love that guy. What else does he have? And it builds that relationship through print, right? Or ebook, whatever. But
yeah,
having the physical book is so important. I talked to a lot of people who write, 8-page ebooks.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I've got a book. I'm like, no, that's like a pamphlet brochure. That doesn't count.
Right.
There's something about holding a book in your hand, mailing it to somebody in a box, making that experience. Disney Fast Pass. Disney is an experience. What's the difference between Disney and like Six Flags? They're both amusement parks. They both have rides.
Right.
Disney has an experience.
Right.
And what you're talking about in sending text and different, that's experiential touches, personal. Same thing here. When you mail somebody a copy of your book and it's signed, Hey, Blake, so good to be with you, brother. Looking forward to staying in touch. You'll never throw that book away. It'll be on your bookshelf back there.
Right.
You'll move it to your next house.
Yeah.
Right? I become part of your life.
Right.
That's a connection. That's one of those 100 connections, right?
Yeah.
It's daunting to write a book. That's why I tell people never write a book. You should always speak to write your book. Get it out of your head. Don't get stuck. And then we've just got the whole process just dialed in after doing it for a decade to help you get that book out of your head and into print so that you can use it as that fast pass, so that you can use it as that magnet that draws people to you to understand your story. It's about a whole lot more than what you do for people. It's about who you are.
Right.
And putting that in the pages so that everything else you do is consistent. It totally, I mean, opens opens the floodgate. It's like Moses standing on the edge of the Red Sea, right? And God parts the Red Sea and the Israelites just walk through on dry ground. And that's literally what has happened to me time and time and time and time again. When I put a copy of my book in somebody's hand, I get responses. I get invitations to phone calls and meetings and say, okay, let's talk.
Right.
Great. Let's do that. It's not the only thing. It's not a purple pill, right? It's not take this and everything. No, you got to have consistency over time. If I have any formula for anybody, it's consistency over time. You got to be there. You got to be you. And if you're this way, Blake, today, and 6 months from now, I meet you and you're a totally different person, that's weird. And now you're starting all over.
Yeah.
But if you're the same guy now and 8 years from now, there's integrity, there's credibility, there's transparency, there's all of that. That's why people work with us. That's why people choose you. I don't know if that made any sense or not.
It made a ton of sense. And I love the companionship of moments in business when you do have a fast pass, such as a book.
Yeah.
And moments in business when you don't. And both are paths to creating opportunities, to creating relationships. Because, I mean, this is one of the oldest cliches out there, but the whole idea of, every business is a relationship business. But to actually put relationshiping time on the calendar, it's important but never urgent, in the sense that I feel like a lot of people, they get lead gen in their minds, like lead gen, like we need like lists and numbers and outreach and all that, and which is true and valid, and absolutely it's the oxygen of business. And I believe instead of sending 100 stock messages and seeing what comes back, what if you sent 10 unforgettable doses of outreach? You still might not get replies, but you basically get to level 7 rapport in the first touch. Like, as an example, I know that for yourself, you and your son Caleb are in the business together.
Yes.
So I'm aware that that is a father-son relationship we are talking about. Because I'm a human in the world, I know a lot of things about what it's like to be a son.
Yes.
What it's like to be a father. I'm a new dad. So I could reach out to you guys for book stuff. I could reach out to you guys to sell you some things. I could reach out to you for a bunch of reasons. But if I literally were to reach out with a video or an audio message the day I met you both on Zoom, which I did a few months back, and simply said, hey, Michael and Caleb, we barely know each other yet, but here's something I learned about you both on Zoom an hour ago that I wanted to make sure you knew. By the way, this audio message is a little bit weird. And then I'll include an audio message or maybe a video, and I'll literally say something like, Michael and Caleb, I became a dad like under a year ago. I see that you're a father-son combo in business together. As someone who has a 1-year-old in his living room right now, I'm inspired by the following 3 things. 1, the way in which you, Caleb, edified your dad, Michael, when introducing him to the group. Secondly, the banter that you both had with one another. Michael seems to kind of be like the wacky, fun, bright light, and Caleb's like the wizard, the brains of let's
Yep.
keep this guy organized and on track. And the fact that you are committed to grow your business and your impact in a huge way, given the group I met you in, and you're going together, which is really cool because any time to do father son anything is probably some really meaningful moments on the life clock. So this
Yeah.
message might be weird. I just wanted to share it with you because it's something I felt and thought while I was on Zoom with you. Let me know when you see this message and if you think it's totally weird or not. So what I just did is I just went through a window,
Yeah.
not a door. There's no line. I like walked around the house. I sent a thing and I said a thing that no one else on earth is never going to say or send in the same way again. It's impossible because it's completely from me, solely for them. And the technical nature of it was it had some multimedia, audio or video. So it's like me, my energy, my heart.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
ended with an open loop question, an intrigue loop, I call them, saying, let me know when you've seen this and tell me how weird you thought it was.
Yeah. That's
Which
great.
means if I don't get a response out of customer service, I can just kind of loop back every so often and say, hey, you guys probably got busy, wanted to touch base again on the above question, let me know. And then I get to innovatively come up with 10 other ways to follow up. So I'm not just like, hey, did you get my message? Hey, did you get my
Right.
message? Hey, did you get my message? And that combination of touch points, we go so far so fast because
Yes.
I began from a place of empathy, acknowledgement, legacy, instead of, hey, I think there could be an opportunity for us to have a conversation, maybe do some kind of collaboration, send me your calendar link.
Yeah.
Which that's
Absolutely.
cool too, but thousands of people are doing it. No one's doing the thing I just said.
That's right. It's so fun. We had some friends come over the other day after church, and they were parked outside of the street when we got home. So we pulled in, opened the garage door, we pulled in, and they started walking up the driveway. And I said, hey, hey, come here. You get to come in through the family entrance.
The
The front door is
garage.
for visitors, and family entrance through the garage, right? That's exactly what you're talking about. You're going
Yeah.
through you get to go through the family entrance,
Right.
right?
I just went through the garage before Michael even knew who I was.
That's right. Yeah. And you
I'm
walk in
eating
and
his food and he hasn't even met me yet.
yeah, exactly. And it just it reduces so many barriers. You know, when you walk into my house, if you're a guest at my house, Blake, there's one rule. You got to make yourself at home. This is your house. And that just if people go, oh, all right. Do we need to take our shoes off? If you want to take your shoes off, you're welcome to. Don't have to. Whatever you want to do. This is your house.
Yeah.
And it just lowers the barriers. And that's really what we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes or whatever it is finding ways to lower barriers to open doors that seem locked, barricaded. I have this
Yes.
vision of the big bouncer guy in front of the bar, right? How do you get past him? Well, you walk around the side door, and you have your friend over there going, "Come here." So it's all these personal things that
Yeah.
you're right. So many people they avoid them. They don't think they're profitable because they're over here doing the I need more leads, I need more leads, I need more leads, I need more leads, the outreach. Does it work? Sure, it works.
Yeah.
Again, it's not necessarily an either or, but it's a try this. Try
Right.
mailing somebody a thank you. Write in a
Right.
thank you. I've got a whole thank you system we give our clients because nobody does thank yous well, right?
Mm.
And it's handwritten, it's video based as well. It's timed out. It's a gift that comes later. It's
Right.
all these little things to go, wow, that was
Right.
meaningful. Nobody's ever sent me something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
There's this background in my life where part of my life I wasn't going through the garage. I didn't have a garage at this time, but I worked in student residences at university campuses. So there were above 1,000 people living in one building, and I was the
Right.
manager of this building. And one thing that everybody did on the team, it was like a part of the culture in the university, so we had to do it, but it was a great idea, is we need to make sure that everybody had their birthday celebrated during the year they lived in the residence. And if anybody's birthday fell at the time of year off the residence calendar, like holidays, summer, etc., we would celebrate their half birthday
Mm.
or like their quarter birthday, wherever it fell, so that they got celebration. And so for business, first of all, I don't do this at a CRM level because I'm
Yeah.
like kind of old school. I don't really even have a CRM. But for people that are really dialed in, it's like systems, delegations, CRM, automation, all that stuff. If you literally go into your CRM and whatever thing you send as a birthday, whatever, card, gifts, email, if you literally adjust the delivery date to 6 months later and tweak the messaging to celebrate their half birthday,
Yep.
no one's showing up but you.
That's right.
Because again, it's like, yes, thoughtfulness is cool, and is it at a time that everyone else is also being thoughtful? Because if it is, wonderful. Though if part of your goal is also to be top of mind, to stand out, to be remembered, to show up in ways that other people won't, just drop the stuff on Tuesday instead of Saturday.
That's right. That's right. No, on that point, I tell people for business owners, right? They all in America, we always sing Christmas cards, right? Send a Christmas cards at Christmas. Yeah, tell them how much you appreciate their business. I'm like, great, you and about 30 other people.
Yeah.
How about in America, backing it up a month and sending a Thanksgiving card and saying, Blake, thank you for the opportunity to serve you and your family this year. It has been a joy. We are so grateful to have you part of our family. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You're going to be one of one.
Right.
Nobody sends Thanksgiving cards.
Another one for the Thanksgiving pile. No.
Love it. Yeah, no. And so it's just all of that. And you're right. It's planned thoughtfulness.
Right.
And it's not hard to do. It comes from a heart of caring and looking at how do I take all of this and growing my business and doing it in a more personal way that's seemingly out of the box just a little bit, sending gifts or thank yous on napkins, or it could be lots of things, but I love yours. All right, we're recording on April 12th. Happens to be my sister's birthday.
Oh.
And so right before this, I picked up Facebook Messenger because that's how she and I communicate. She's in Indiana, I'm in Arkansas. I sent her a short little video saying, Karen, happy Thanksgiving. Glad you're my sister. Hope you have a great one, right? I'm just looking at it right now and it's here. Notification. Thank you. Love you too from my sister. I made a connection with her, right?
There it is.
I could have done 1,000 different things, but that was quick, easy, personal. And it's not one of the Facebook ones. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Right.
Shut up. Don't send those to me. They don't mean anything to me. They mean zero.
Right.
They do.
Right.
But a personal video or a thank you or whatever, dude, off the charts. And you're great at it. I know you help people get great at it. And that's one reason I wanted to connect and just have a conversation and say, people, we need to do better at connecting personally. If you don't know Blake, check out Blake Fly. It's just off the charts in how you help people get to the front of the line, break open those doors. You don't have to break them open. What happens is they open from the inside and you get welcomed in.
Right. You're in the garage.
No. You stay over there, Blake. Blake, thank you, Blake. All right, close the doors again. That's really what it's like.
Yes.
Using really simple bromance letters. I love that. That's so good. You got to do like a podcast or a blog post with a bromance letter. But it's personal. And the cool thing is, Blake, we're going to remember bromance letter for decades. Everybody who hears it is going to remember bromance letter, Blake Fly. Love it. Right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So,
this stuff to me is energizing and inspiring. And
yes.
I'll be honest, if you have me build a funnel, I'll procrastinate that. I'll put that thing off. I will take forever. I know you can delegate it and everything, but just that methodology, it kind of just cramps up my brain. Yeah. Whereas if you said, send 100 videos or write 100 cards this month to 100 people, I'll do it. And not because I just sit down and grind it out, because you can do that while walking. You can do that on a park bench. You can do that while you're hanging out with your family. There's so many ways to do it. And truthfully, to send a quick audio or a video, it's faster, it's easier, and it's way more memorable, and it's more meaningful because people know, oh my gosh, that guy Michael just like said my name. And
Yes.
huh, he either did a campaign to every Blake in North America, and that's impressive, or he just sent me that.
Right. That's right. He's thinking about me. And that's awesome.
Now,
Well,
some of
brother,
my people in my world might hear this too, so I want to make sure before we wrap, how do they find Michael? Because otherwise, you're like, wait, I found this
who
video
was that? Who
of
was
this
that?
guy Blake and this guy Michael. I want to keep paying attention to Michael.
Yeah.
How do people learn more about the world of Michael
Yeah.
DeLon?
Just we try to make it super simple. Our website's paperbackexpert.com. And once you're there, that's like the hub of the wheel. You
Hmm.
can find all things Michael, from Facebook group to coaching to books to connect with us to email, you name it. It's all there. Free training on all kinds of things that we do. Paperbackexpert.com is our hub.
Nice. So
And
that's how they get to learn more about the Michael world.
yes. And you?
For me, I made a
Yeah.
video series that I love sharing with people. It's at instantconnecting.com, and it's just a video series around these wacky, simple, straightforward, no-cost ways to
Love it.
make friendships, create opportunities, be remembered, be unforgettable. So instantconnecting.com is that video series. And then if you want to just reach out to me on Instagram, I'm Blake Fly. And on Facebook, I use my full name, Blake Flyshacker. It's a lot to spell. So find Michael DeLon, go to Related Friends, click on Blake Flyshacker, drop me a line.
There you go. I love it. Well, Blake, thank you, man. This has been so much fun. A lot of great information. I hope people here's what I hope they'll listen and marinate in what we've talked about and then take some action to have some innovative outreach in their business.
Voila. Thanks for
Take
this
care, my friend.
conversation.
All
See you,
right.
Michael.